When looking at a table when it is going to be set up, there's a couple things that you really want to look for. Um, Obviously, we have our andiamo glass here. You want to make sure that the andiamo itself is facing towards the guest. You want to make sure that you have our napkins. Should be done in a T. So if we're calling this 6 o'clock, if we're looking at a clock, you should have 6 and 12. And you should have 3 and 9 be where the napkins are going to be placed. At the same time, if you look at your glassware should be done just in an X, which goes right across the table. When looking at your salt and pepper shakers, they should be full. And then depending on which unit you're at, they should all be facing the same direction. So here we are in Warren. So we want to have the salt facing towards 14 Mile. Now a couple other things that you want to look at when you do pull out. For me, what I would like to see is that when a guest pulls away their napkin, that you'd be able to set the salad plate right there, so that they don't have to move their silverware when their first course comes down. Second thing we want to look at is looking at our cloths. So you want to look at your bottom cloth. As you can see, there's stitching. The stitching needs to be on the back side, which this one is, which is very good. And you also want to check to see if there are any staining. So as you can see, there's a spot right here. This would be one of the cloths that we would want to change. Now, if you also look at the chairs, you want to pull the chairs completely out. You want to just check your chairs. In this case, the chair looks great. And you want to push it back just to where it starts touching the linen itself. So you don't want to have it pushed all the way in like this. That's too far. You want to have it so it's just touching the linen, so it's very open and inviting. So we would continue to look. One thing that does work on these, just FYI, sometimes if it's just a little one, and this one really isn't that bad, is you can get a Tide stick or you can get a little bit of bleach, hot water, and this could probably come completely out. Now, I just want to show you a demonstration of another table. If you can come this way, just to show the difference between this table, which is actually manicured properly, and then we look at this table right here. So as you can see, it still has all the same components, still has everything in here, but it's just disorganized. So that's how the table would actually feel as well. So as you're actually looking at this, you can see that there is really no separation, so you can't put a plate right there. If you look at the silverware, all of it's kind of tilted in different directions, so this is almost working like a V. As you can see, these glasses are not actually in alignment. As you lift up this glass, and I'm sure you can't really see it, but there's fingerprints all over this one. If you look at the chairs are all tucked in, so you're on top of the linens. You look at how this is set up, you still have the salt and pepper in the right spots. But if you look on our last table, we had this set up just like so. So there should be a uniform style to how we're actually doing our tables. So let's just try to make this one look like our others. So we want to look at these. As you can see, the seam is down. We want to push that chair in. I'm going to move these out just a touch. As you can see, you have the first fork is going to be a little bit farther down. Second fork is going to be raised just a little bit above it. We're going to have our andiamo facing our guest. So once again, we're going to push these out. So let's see how much better it's become. So as you can see, we have our T. As you can see, we have our X. The next thing that we would do is we would use our polishing cloth and we'd just start polishing this glass for sure. Because it looks like it just has some fingerprints in it. Alright, that's a wrap.